All right, so I'm in the air, got my knee strap all figured out, and the goal is to get up to the top of the bench behind me, the mountain behind me, so as to be able to concentrate and have a nice, smooth, easy flight where I don't have to concentrate about finding lift so much. Gotta get up there, right up there. Ooh, there's some sink right here. Let's get out of there. Still working on it. Still trying to get up. A little bit challenging today. Hopefully the wind will turn on a little bit, or some more thermals will roll through. We'll be able to get higher and make our way back to that ridge up there. There's a glider up there. I'm not sure you can see them. There's two of them. They got up earlier. I guess maybe it was a little stronger, or maybe they're just better pilots. There we go. Gaining some altitude here. All right. Well, welcome to the air. We're in the beautiful Draper, Utah, world-class hang gliding. Those are the Wasatch Range you see back there to the right of me. Beautiful area. So let's talk about following the heart. Why to do it, how to do it, some lessons, some things that have worked for me. So first of all, we hear it all the time, everybody, you should follow your heart. Follow your heart. There's songs about it, everything, but why? Following the heart is wise, sage advice, because that's where the intuition lies. The intuition that gives guidance on decisions, what to do, on knowledge, on the questions that you have unanswered. It's often in the heart that those answers can be found. And the reason for that is because the heart is like a vessel through which the mind-made ego doesn't reside, and information flows through from beyond, from God, from the universe, from the soul, your higher self, whatever term you use, it's all the same. It's the phenomenon that's the same for all those things. And the heart is always the place where these things can come through. So if it's so helpful, if it gives answers, if it gives guidance, why is it that why don't we see that? Why doesn't everybody, get all the answers that they need all the time? The mind gets in the way. Ever since we were young children, our parents have told us certain things are right. Our teachers have told us certain things are right. friends, society, all have expectations of us. And it's come to the point where if we don't do those things, it feels like something is wrong. Here in the mind, it feels like something is wrong. And it's only when we get out of the mind here that we really see what is right. Just because society or somebody tells you something is right, it's not right. But that's the way we think it is. We have expectations from our friends, from all these people. And unfortunately, it causes a lot of suffering. Because day to day, we have certain beliefs that we have to do these certain things in order to get love from other people, to get attention from other people. And unfortunately, it makes us ignore what we truly want. So we listen to people who say we need to do certain things, to teachers, to all these people. And yet, our hearts can be telling us that, no, that's not right, don't do that. But we think, oh, because they're so learned, because they have more experience than us, that they're definitely right and we can't trust ourselves. We've basically been taught not to trust ourselves, which is very sad. And so, if anybody tells you, hey, you can't do this, you can't just do that thing that you want to do. Look at all these people for hundreds of years who have been learning much more than you have. They've been scholarly, reading all the scriptures, doing all these things, learning all day. You don't do that, so who are you? So who are you? You are made in the image of God. You are a creator, and you have a constant connection to that creation. When you connect to that space, that infinite vastness of intelligence, then you have all the information that you need, and nobody can tell you otherwise. So, everybody has access to this knowledge, and that's not to say we shouldn't learn from teachers. Of course we should. But we learn from all these people, but we verify everything in the heart. You are the ultimate final authority. Your heart has the final say. It takes practice, of course. It takes a lot of practice because it's hard to calm the mind down. The mind is running all the time, all the time. We have to get present. We have to come into the current moment in order to allow the heart to speak and to listen to what it has to say, because it's always talking to us. We're always getting information. We're just ignoring it. So, it's all well and good. So how do we do it? This is what I do. First I sit down, I go into a quiet environment where there's not a lot of noise, and I just sit still and I pay attention to my heart area. Or you can listen to your breathing also. And you just, for a couple minutes, or as long as it takes for your mind to calm down a little bit, start putting your attention to the heart. After some time, you will get, the heart will become louder and the mind will become a little bit quieter. This does take practice because the mind has a knack for talking a lot. So the more you practice it, the easier it gets, of course. So the thing that helped me the most in actually figuring this out is that when we say listening to the heart, it's actually the physical sensation. If you want to try to differentiate between what the mind says and what the heart says, put the focus literally in the physical heart area, in the whole chest area, and hear what it has to say. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's say that you have a question. You have choices A and you have choices B. Ask yourself this question, or rather, put yourself into the situation as if you are about to or right now doing choice A. So imagine yourself doing choice A and put your attention on the heart. What do you feel? Again, this is the physical area. Ignore what's up here. Just feel what you feel in the heart. And you will have, I generally tend to categorize it as one of three feelings, although really they're about the same. You feel for a certain sense of lightness in the heart, and you feel for, or you could feel a sense of excitement, or just a feeling that this is right, it feels right. And again, this is a physical sensation. It's very real. So you can feel that something is right, you can feel that something is exciting, or you can feel that something feels light, or that it feels like it makes you at ease. All these things, different words, but in reality, it's all the same, because if you feel that something is light, it feels good. If you feel that something is light, then it also feels right at the same time. And it's also a feeling of excitement, because that thing that you're thinking of is the most exciting thing that you can choose to do in that moment, more than anything else. That doesn't mean that you're like a kid getting ready to go to Disneyland, but it means that at that moment, this feels the most exciting option that you have. And it feels right. Now, go ahead, or you may feel the opposite. You may feel a sense of tension. You may feel a sense of heaviness in the heart. You may feel that it just feels wrong. So then for about a couple of minutes of you imagining yourself doing choice A, now do the same with choice B. Imagine you're about to do it. Not something that like you're going to do in the future, you're doing in the future, but as if you're literally doing it. Like imagine like if you need to make a phone call, imagine that like, okay, I'm getting my phone out right now, I'm making a phone call. As an example, as if it's happening right now. Put yourself in the current moment in that you doing that thing. So choice B, does it feel like it's more tense? Does it feel like it's more heavy? Or does it feel wrong? Now at the start, both things may feel similar. It takes some practice. But here's something else that has tended to help me. Maybe you're not sure, because often you will feel that the feelings between the two situations are actually different. The feelings are different, but you're not sure which is which. That happens to me sometimes. So in that situation, what I do is I imagine doing something, for example, that I really know for sure that I'm not going to enjoy doing. For example, I'm going to imagine that right now I'm going to call my workplace and say, listen, I've decided to start doing 70-hour work weeks. That's pretty insane, and it would feel really bad. So I imagine doing that, and I put my attention on the heart again and see what I feel. I feel a sense of tension, like unhappiness in the heart, not in the head, all in the heart. So I do that, and I feel it. And now I have some kind of a gauge. Now I'll go back to decision A, choice A, and I'll imagine that I'm doing choice A. How does my heart compare to me offering to do a 70-hour work week? Choice B, how does that compare to choice A and the 70-hour work week? One of those will feel lighter than all the other two. That's the choice that you need to do every single time without fail. Every single time, that's guaranteed the choice you'll need to make. Your heart knows the answer to what you need to do. Now, the hard part is about this, because it sounds good in theory, but the hard part is sometimes and oftentimes it's going to be in contrast to what your mind says. Your mind could actually be fearful about choice A, but your heart will say to do choice A. And in fact, a lot of times the choice you need to do is associated with the one that you're most fearful about. Kind of crazy, huh? But that's a lot of the times that's where our growth is. That's where the calling comes from. We could be scared of doing something, but that fear is actually the heart's excitement with your mind overlaying, putting a veil of fear over it. So your heart may have this sensation of excitement. That's why oftentimes before you go on a stage, you may feel like tension or something some kind of fear in the heart. A lot of the times it's actually not fear. It's actually the same sensation as excitement. And again, you can verify this for yourself. You can verify this when you imagine yourself going on that 70-hour work week. It's a different feeling. So the mind will often be at odds with the heart. This is something that gets used to, and it's very difficult. Now I'm going to share something with you that happened to me a little while ago. I was in Colorado. I was getting ready to go on a trip for a couple of weeks to move to King Mountain, Idaho, for a big hang gliding fly-in. Now I had gone to Colorado. I'd stayed in Colorado for about a month and a half, and I was really getting ready to do a lot of flying there because there's some epic flying in the Rockies. But I didn't know about monsoon season, and I literally got only a single flight. So I was really itching to fly, to get some really good flights. And King Mountain, Idaho was also known to be a spectacular place, so I was really excited to go there. So I was in Colorado making plans to go, and I had two choices. From where I was near Vail, Colorado, I could have gone via Utah, Salt Lake City, and stopped at Point of the Mountain, which is where I'm flying right now. Epic flying, consistent, I would have gotten good flights in. Or I could have gone through the north, up through Wyoming. And I would go up through where the Grand Tetons are, which would also be really epic, although not really flying, but I've heard great things about the Grand Tetons near Yellowstone National Park, yada yada. So I was getting ready to go, I was indecisive, and I put my attention on the heart. I asked myself, okay, I put myself into the mindset that right now, I'm getting ready to go through Salt Lake City. And I imagined myself driving there, going to Point of the Mountain here. And I put my attention on the heart, and I had a feeling what I had to say. There's a little bit of tension there. Okay, so then I put the attention of me going and stopping by the Grand Tetons. I felt a lot of excitement, like night and day. There was no question. Although I was excited about doing either thing, either flying at Point of the Mountain, stopping here for maybe a day, and then going up to King Mountain, or just going straight through Wyoming through Grand Tetons. Both sounded pretty exciting. But my heart, there was a little bit of tension going to Utah. Very interesting. I didn't know why. So I decided to go through Grand Tetons. So I stop overnight on the way to Grand Tetons. I arrived the next day about 1 p.m. or so at the Grand Tetons. But something happened. All of a sudden, while I was driving, as I was imagining myself taking a hike at the Grand Tetons, I felt a bit of tension, which was very strange, because before I was really excited about it. That was odd. So at this point, I had a choice. I could stay and do that hike that I wanted to do at the Grand Tetons just for a few hours, and then continue on to King Mountain. Or I could just continue right away onto King Mountain. And at this point, I wasn't sure if there was going to be a lot of people at the fly-in at King Mountain. I didn't know what to expect there, really. So I just, all I know, my mind was really excited because I was right there. I was literally right next to Jackson. And the Grand Tetons were right there. So it's like I would just stop by there and just pass right through. So, but my heart was feeling a little bit of tension going there, which is strange because that's what it was telling me the other day. So I decided to go and take that hike. And while I was driving on my way to that hike, it just felt so off. But my mind was like, are you kidding me? You can't skip this. You can't. So I went on a hike, and I just felt like shit on that hike. I was stuck in my mind. I was looking around. I just was not enjoying myself. And to top it off, I started getting blisters on my feet. I was wearing new sandals at the time. and my feet were hurting. I had to take them off, and then I started walking on the rocks, and I was just in pain, and it was just no good. And the whole time, I was thinking, no, I should just turn back and just go. But no, I'm already on this hike. I might as well just keep going. There was this kind of inertia in the process that I would go and do this hike no matter what. So after about a few hours, I came back to the car. I was really tired, but at this point, I was thinking, should I just stay overnight? Because I'm just really sore, tired. But at this point, my heart was just screaming, just go. So I said, okay, I'm going. So I go, and I arrive at King Mountain. There's a few hundred people there, over 100 pilots, many of which I have known and I haven't seen for over a year. People were gathered around a campfire. And it turns out that they had an epic day of hang gliding that day at King Mountain. People were reaching 15,000 feet elevation. Something that I've been dreaming of doing, which I haven't yet done. I have never gotten to 15,000 feet. If I had listened to my heart, I would have had the most epic flight of my life. But I didn't listen to my heart. Because, you see, at the time, I did not know that there's so many people there. I didn't know that there was going to be good flying there today. I didn't know if anybody was going to be there. I had no idea. I didn't know anything like that. But my heart knew. My heart knew because it felt excitement to go there, although my mind didn't know. My mind had no idea what was going to happen over there. All it knew was the Grand Tetons are right here, man. So I came late. If I had gone at that point when I thought that I should go, I would have been able to get there. The last person to take off that flight was 7 p.m. in the evening. I probably would have gotten there at 5 p.m. or so. I would have gotten an amazing, epic flight. And I was there at King Mountain for 2 weeks afterwards. There was not a single day there were conditions like that. Not a single day. I missed out. I still had pretty good flights. I did enjoy them, but they weren't anything like the ones that people had before. Lesson learned. So here's a question. When I was in Colorado, and the thought of going to the Grand Tetons, which I imagined at the time during my two choices, if that was the most exciting thing, how come it turned out to not be the most exciting thing? That's a little odd, isn't it? And it's funny because I had just been listening to a teacher. Who was just talking about this topic, and it didn't click for me. Basically, when we have an idea, when we imagine something, and we get all excited about it, we should never be attached to the fruit of our acting towards that thing, of attaining that actual thing. Why? Because you may actually not need to get that thing you're imagining. So you can be excited about a certain thing, but your heart will only make you excited about it because it's trying to get you to move into a certain direction. So you may not necessarily get the thing which you're excited about that you're working for. You may sometimes, of course. A lot of times you will get that thing that you're working towards, but not always. The thing that we should always concentrate on is just doing the actions that we know we need to do in the current moment. So I knew that I needed to go toward Jackson, to the Grand Tetons, and at the time I thought I'd be hiking there. So I was excited. Now when I got there, it changed. And the inertia that I had from before continued on. It basically, I was stuck in my mind too much about it, thinking about hiking at the Grand Tetons, that I stopped listening to the heart. Every single time when we stay in the moment, we're receptive to what the heart says, and it can be changing quite often. So that change in the heart is what we should always be listening to. It doesn't matter that we thought, I thought this such and such thing was supposed to happen. No, you were only supposed to take certain actions. It was only supposed to get you to move in the direction. That's that. It can change at any time. So this was a great lesson learned for me. So do some practice. You know, go ahead and take some time when it's quiet, maybe when everybody else has gone to sleep, and start listening to the heart. If you have some questions, decisions you need to do, quiet the mind. It takes some practice. You'll get better over time. It's just like going to the gym. You know, you can't do it once, go to the gym once, and then complain that, you know, it didn't work for you. You're still weak. It takes consistency. You have to do it, but your life will guaranteed be changed for the better. Now, if you really are in a position where you're kind of lost and you don't know what to do at all, you don't have any decisions, that's probably a good topic for another video. But keep the focus on the heart, meditate on it. It contains all of the answers. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the flight. And let's enjoy the rest of the flight. Thanks for watching. Wow.